All right.
So we're live
Ugh.
again now?
Yep, we're live again. We're in the after hour. Main show is done. All right. So here's a conversation that I remembered that we had a few years ago, but clearly you don't remember it.
Hmm,
So I'm wondering because I remember your perspective then, and it's going to be fun for me because I'll be able to see how yours has changed.
interesting. Okay.
A few
Hit me.
years ago, we had a conversation about astrology, the zodiac signs, and such. My position on that was I don't believe in it.
Sure.
However, it is still real.
Okay.
And the reason it's
Explain.
real, when you're like me, you're an Aquarius and like people will tell you, "Oh, you have this personality. You can get away with this. Oh, this is why you're like this." Like you are told what your personality attributes are. You
Mm-hmm.
look up these things, you see them in daily horoscopes. So the people who do subscribe to that stuff wind up being convinced that that is the type of personality they have. So it is the personality they adopt.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I could see that.
So I
Like
don't
like a
think it's,
confirmation bias kind of thing.
yes. So I don't think it's a real thing. However, it is still a real thing.
Okay.
Kind of
And
placebo effect-ish, I guess.
that would be one way of putting it. Yeah. I mean, kind of, sort of. I don't know if placebo effect really applies when it comes to
I
psychology, but I
well,
can
I
see
don't
why
really
it
know how to
wouldn't.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that like like horror movies, it seems like I can't not date women who aren't into astrology. So even though I'm not into it and I never really bought into it, it is kind of a constant in my life. And the thing that always gets me about it is how often uh, some of these folks do correctly guess my sign and then continue to just say like, "Oh, well, that's such a Libra thing to do," because I am a Libra, and so they're always just like, "Well, of course of course you feel that way. You're a Libra." Like that was thrown into my face more often than "You're such a guy." Like,
Yeah. I can see that.
so.
The well, it's kind of like, oh my god, a fantastic. I know you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yes, yeah, great
There's a
show.
fantastic example of this in I think it's like the episode 3 or something.
Mm.
But Gina has a psychic friend who's like, "No, no, no. She's legit. She's predicted that I would have a romantic encounter with a guy named Dave, and I did." Cuts to a bar and she's just drunk. It's like last call. And she's like, "Is anybody here named Dave?" And like three guys raise their hands. She's like, "You'll do." That like when you go looking for it, you
Right.
will find it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, confirmation bias. Exactly. Like, okay,
Yeah.
no, I see where you're coming from on that. No. All right, so we killed 3 minutes on that conversation. I was really thinking
Well,
that
I
that
mean,
was
if
going to
you want,
go a little further.
I mean, the interesting thing is how like how the concepts behind astrology have evolved over the years. Like every time I bring the subject up with someone who truly believes in it, there is a new theory. Like every year, there is a new theory to back up why it works. It first starts off with like, well, there's like the seasonal thing. Like if you're a Capricorn, you were born in the middle of winter, and so having that first like your first memories growing up be kind of more of a springtime-ish thing, that is what feeds into your mentality, and that's where it comes from. No one's saying it's any sort of mystical hoodoo thing. It's a pattern of what happens to people when that was one theory I heard.
Many people say it's a mystical hoodoo thing.
Well, I've had it tried to be explained to me that way. Yeah.
No, I get that. Like I've the whole 28-year cycle and stuff like that that people have talked
Right.
about. I'm like, okay, that does kind of make sense, but also in your late 20s is where your hormones have completely settled and you're a fully functioning human being who understands your own shit.
Right. Yeah.
So where I can I can see a 28-year cycle, but I also understand how the human body works and hormones and how everything settles and all of this. and just generally in the modern age,
Hmm.
about 28 years is where things get settled.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
No, but people are like, no, it's Mercury gets into its exact same position as when you're born, 28 year or I don't know what it is. I just know Mercury
Right. Yeah.
is in retrograde 3 times a week. That's
Right.
about
Yeah.
all I
It's
know.
and that's everyone's explanation for having a bad day. Yeah, I know. I
What yeah, the amount of hoops that certain people jump through just to avoid self accountability for just feeling shitty.
right. Yeah.
Like,
And
dude,
I
you're a
and
human being. Just feel shitty every once in a while and be okay with it.
that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's we have to jump through these hoops to excuse our bad days because we've also been trained to believe that having a bad day is a weakness of some kind. So we need to have some kind of
Oh,
justification for it.
I see it differently as like nobody can be at fault for having a bad
Mm.
day. Like I had a like things suck because of this. Things suck because of this. Things suck because of this. Is it possible that things suck because of your outview?
That and you know what? That might also be part of it too. Yeah.
Like that's the kind of accountability that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Where it's just, I hate everything and it's because of everything. It's like
And I've
there
been there. I spent a couple of years there.
are you kidding me? I've spent so much time. Look at my brow
Mm.
ridge. I hate how much that actually does kind of make sense.
Mhm.
Because even if I'm not having a bad day, I have a heavy brow ridge and it still kind of looks like I do. So, but no, like I am right there with you though. I have had severe periods of time that when I look back on them, the thing that was shitty was me. Like
Mhm. Yeah.
the thing that couldn't see any of the good things that was happening around me, the thing that was getting in the way all the time. It Yeah, life is not great.
Oh yeah.
Like it
Dude,
doesn't really
yeah.
help you along the way most of the time. But Jesus, like our
Yeah.
big thing is for us to get out of our own way. And yes, if everything is pissing us off,
Yeah,
go
no,
pay
I
attention to
can
something that doesn't.
literally pinpoint the exact moment of my life in which I was the absolute worst version of myself.
Really?
And yep. I'm it's one of those things where it's like I think back to it and I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me? Like, why didn't my so-called friends stop me and go, "Do you hear what's coming out of your fucking mouth?" Like it was kind of a little but there was a time, it was probably about 6 or 7 years after my divorce, so I'm finally just now getting over it,
Okay.
um,
All right.
and I am finally getting to the point where I can like get out there and start dating again. And it is also the beginning of the advent of real online dating. You know, like there were some dating services that were online, but what we know of online dating to be today was only just now getting started at this point. So
Okay. So like okay
s-
Cupid and those things.
exactly, yes, yep, exactly. So yeah, so I'm just now after many years of bad
Can you imagine
relationships
seeing
and
Doc on Farmers Only?
well, with this hair, I'd probably be doing okay, actually. Like the haircut I had back then would not have worked out very well. No. Um, but yeah, the so I would things were not going well for me. I was finally putting myself out there again, and it was really just one bad experience after another. And I remember sitting down at a bar with a bunch of friends, people who, the crowd of old high school people that I had reconnected with once returning to Portland, thanks to
Oh,
Facebook.
okay. Okay.
And so we had a kind of semi-regular meet at this one bar thing going on. And so I sit down there with them and and they were like, "How's it going, man?" And I was like, I'm not kidding. My apologies to the world, but I literally said these words unironically with all seriousness. I said, "I just realized all women are whores."
Oh my God.
Yeah, that
Okay. Post divorce,
that
that is the
7
time. Like
years is that's a little it's a
I
little
think post divorce doesn't stop.
no, that's a very good point, yeah. But yeah, so But yeah, that's the
But
thing is
yeah,
like I
you would
was
think
I
that would
was
be an opinion like a few months after.
right, yes. So that's the thing is like it was a cycle of bad decisions that brought me to and bad outlooks that brought me to the point where I literally just hated everyone and wanted to spread that hate around as much as I could. And yeah, like it's like I said, like the fact that like my friends at that table, my so-called friends at that table, didn't go like, dude, go fuck yourself, like right there. Like, dude,
Well,
instead they went like, so you're having a bad day, huh? Like
I was about to say the thing, like, if one of my friends would say that, I'd be like, all right, what's wrong, buddy? Like, so I think they actually did kind of,
maybe they did. Maybe they did, yes. But yeah. But no, that was yeah.
because if
Like
you
I
if you
said,
if you just kind of laugh it off and go, haha, yeah, no, that's the wrong answer.
right,
But
yes.
no, if they're checking out on you like, do you need a hug?
But
that
but
that may not be the wrong answer.
right, yeah. But
uh,
yeah,
damn.
and it very, very much was outlook. And granted, yes, some of it was circumstances, like I said, post-divorce, online dating, but at the same time, it was just 100% I had put myself in the wrong headspace, and that was causing a feedback loop of me taking the worst from every event and just making myself more miserable until I finally went just full 100% misogynist, like, it like not even hiding it kind of thing, you know? And so, yes, that night, it was the worst version of myself. It was all uphill from there. Like, I
Damn.
just kept getting like after like, that was the darkest night. And
Well,
and
that is, I mean, once you hit that realization, yeah, that
yeah.
is, it's good to realize that though.
Yes, yeah.
I I'd always s- nah, never had, I don't think I ever had a moment like that. I did have those moments where I'm like, I'm done.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
done. I'm out. I'm gay. Let's go. Come on. No, I had those moments, but that was I'd always been so self-deprecating that it was always just like I can't do this. There's no way. Like I can't.
Mhm.
What I can't read minds.
Right,
Like
yeah.
I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. Everything I do is wrong. Every step I make is wrong. Every like no, like I had those moments. Ugh, no. See that yeah, like like when I first came back from my deployments, especially my first one, oh, those were man whoring days. It
Yeah.
was not trying. It was just, I went out. Aren't you one of the guys? Yes, I am.
Right.
Small town, North Dakota. You know,
Sure.
they're treated a little differently.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just kind of, I felt at that point like my opinion of women as like a whole like kept dropping further and further down because I'm like I could not find quality women is the point of view that I had at that point. But the older that I got and I started kind of looking back on some of the women that I dated at that time and I was with that time, I
Mhm.
was given shots I should not have been given and I didn't even give a shit.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Like that was the thing. It was not that the women were cheap. It was that the women actually saw me as valuable for some reason.
Mm.
Like I had such a low opinion of myself that that low opinion carried over into the women that were attracted to me.
Sure, yeah. I get you there.
So it's not
I've been in moments
exactly
like that
my
too, yeah.
actions that it's not exactly like I did anything or ever said anything that I can really pinpoint. It's just more that I know that there was a point that I felt so bad about myself that there was not a woman out there that ever got treated appropriately by me.
Sure, yeah. Yep. No, I get you there. I've done that too. I've made on multiple occasions, and I hoped that they meant to be self-deprecating, but there were moments where, like, the reaction told me maybe I was taking it a little too far. But there were times in which I have openly made comments about how, you know, whichever girl I'm dating at this time, I'd be like, well, she's got terrible taste in guys. Like I've, I've literally like I've said that, meant to be a self-deprecating joke, but all too often the reaction was, "The fuck did you just say to me?" Like how dare you? Like
I mean, I don't see how that couldn't go the way that you wanted to, but maybe you said it a different way. I don't, or
I don't
phrased
know.
it some other way. I don't know, because that is very clearly a ding on you.
But like I said, maybe I said it one time too often. Like sometimes it would land, sometimes it wouldn't. So that's the thing where it came down
Okay,
to.
fair. No, it wasn't actually until I got into the entertainment industry where that started changing.
Mm,
When you've talked about it before, where when you're an artist and you are not creating, you are a menace to society.
right, exactly. Yep. I stole that line from another movie.
Oh, which one?
It's called Where Have You Been, Bridget? Fuck, now I can't remember. I remember Lawrence Fishburne says the line. I can't remember what the name of the movie is.
It's a good, I mean, I don't like, well, we can figure that out. It's a really good line because it absolutely does hit home. Like when like through the pandemic, post
Right.
pandemic, everything, I was wildly depressed. I was miserable just until I got to writing again, which, oh my God. Okay. I don't know why my beta readers want to read on video with me. I don't get that. If I was beta reading somebody else's book, I would do it on my own and you would get my notes 2 days later.
Right,
Plain and
exactly.
simple.
Yes. I
Like, I
wouldn't
would
want
not.
anybody
Mm,
if I was reading something, the last thing I would want is the author over my shoulder while I'm reading it. Like, yeah, that's
Thank
a really
you.
good question.
I don't know why my beta readers want this to be done this way, but so far, 66% of my beta readers have wanted it to go this way. And I
Interesting.
finished the book with my second beta reader. And while she was reading the final chapter, this is what I was looking at: tears,
Aw.
tear. And
Wow.
I was sitting there on video and I'm like, just victorious, just this epic feeling washing over me. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm watching this person I've been friends with for a very, very long time cry, and I am feeling so happy about it. This is weird.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But
You were
also,
you
dude,
were
the
you
end
were
of my
having
book actually made somebody cry. I cannot tell you. Well, I mean, you probably understand.
No, well, I mean, we talked about it
Good
with What's
God.
Eating Gilbert Grape when he's all like, you're sad, I made you sad," like that whole bit where he like after she read his short story and she's all, "I'm so sad," and he's all, "Yes, I made you sad."
Garp, 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 Garp. The world according to Garp.
Yeah, didn't I say that?
No, you said what's eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's because I finally found the title of the movie, and it's
Oh,
Where'd You Go, Bernadette is the name of the movie.
oh,
And so
where'd you go, Bernadette?
I smashed all those together into a third movie that exists. So
I just now understood the joke from Howard in Big Bang Theory singing "Where'd You Go, Bernadette."
they must be referencing something else because I'm pretty sure this movie came out after Big Bang Theory ended.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a new movie.
Yeah, it came out in 2019. Yeah.
Ah, man, because there's that moment, like, because Howard like cheats on Bernadette with that troll in World of Warcraft, and then he goes and he sings that song to her. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the song.
Okay. I mean,
I
maybe
don't
that's
know.
the same
I
thing.
don't know.
Maybe the movie title is a reference to the same song or something. Maybe that's the
No,
idea.
but I kind of buried the lead on this, dude. I think my story works.
Yeah, sounds like. Yeah.
Which, thank God, I've put 10 months into writing it. So if
Yeah.
like I really really hope something lands, and I've been on just cloud 9.5 ever since we finished that read, and man,
Fantastic.
I the energy to go in for the rewrite, it's right there. However, ever since we got the news that we actually got approved on this house, my brain has been all over. I tried to write like go into like writing more chapters and all this, and then I went back to read it, and I'm like, this doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Talk about a tone shift. It's like one thing,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden, you got the house. Whoa! Like they just goes everywhere. So things are getting kind of wild on
Yep.
that.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that's the one of the reason why the book that shall not be mentioned, why that's a mess, is because there's 30 tone changes in it
Oh,
because I spent too many years writing it. So every 6 months it's an entirely different
even
frame
though
of
we're not
mind.
supposed to mention that book, god damn it, dog. That is the book I want to talk about the most. God damn it.
And as I say every time, maybe someday. Maybe
What about
someday.
this? What about the screenplay on that one? Is there any
There
direction on
never
that one coming?
never was a plan for that, honestly. Oh, no, wait, no, wait, the screenplay right, that's right. Screenplay version that I first started writing before I wrote it the book, right. No, that was dumped and trashed long ago. Like, I've
Well,
never even
here's the thing.
glanced
Here's
since I
the
started
thing
writing
on
the book,
that
I never
one though.
glanced at that.
Well, here's the thing. Like that is your most affordable screenplay.
Probably right, yeah. I mean, there is that, yeah.
Everything
But that
else has like a lot of special effects. There's like the outside. I mean, I guess. Well, no, the memory wiping and modus operandi.
yeah.
There's those effects, but in this one, it's just a straight up indie film, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah, no, that's the idea of it, yeah. But the original version, yes. It went through a lot of that's the thing, is that it went through a lot of changes when it became a book, and that's kinda like where maybe some of the problems came up, is the fact that I took a simple idea that was just supposed to be a simple low budget indie film and turned it into a very, very complicated book, and that's, you know, and so that's kinda where I'm stuck at, and yeah, and the rewrites on it will probably take me a long, long time that I do not have the spoons for right now when I'm trying
Well,
to,
yeah.
yeah, when I'm trying to, actually, do other projects that I have more confidence in at this moment.
Oh, have you decided which the project is going to be when you make your return, like back into the writing? Do you know which one
I
you're targeting?
Yeah, I think when I finally come out of it, I think the next thing I'm gonna work on is gonna be, it's gonna be called, Shitty Transactions and Questionable Establishments, and it's
Ah,
gonna
damn it! I was really hoping it was going to be not the Canterbury Tales. What the fuck is wrong with you?
oh, the Shoe Tree Fables?
The Shoe Tree Fables. Thank you. That's the
Yeah.
one.
No, it's gonna be the same character, but that's the thing is that,
Oh, it's going to be
I
Wallace.
yeah, I'm intentionally putting that one first so that Shoe Tree Fables will kind of act as a sort of not quite prequel, but that's the thing is, without giving too much away, there is a preface of everything else that happens, kind of put in the Shady Transaction story.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if I do the Nathan Wallace Chronicles, as it were, it's going to start with Shady Transactions because that's the preface that kind of sets the tone for all the rest of them.
Kind of a strange question on this one.
Mhm.
With the person that you originally had cast as Nathan Wallace, do you still have that person in mind when you write that
Not
character,
r
or how does that operate? Or have you cuz
No.
all of my
Yeah,
characters the visuals are there. How does that work with
right.
yours?
That's the thing is, like, that kinda never was the case. I had always like, I had created the character of Nathan Wallace even before I wrote that screenplay. He was my Kilgore Trout, as I have said before, and that's Kilgore Trout is, Kurt Vonnegut's, like, insert of himself. Whenever Kilgore if
By
you
the way, when
read
are we going to cover Slaughterhouse 5?
that's a good question. I mean, we could do it anytime. I'd be down for it, you know?
Fair. Go ahead. Sorry, so
We
finish what you
got
were saying.
several, yeah. But yeah, whenever the character of Kilgore Trout shows up in a Vonnegut story, that's basically Vonnegut writing himself in a semi-satirical way. How he sees himself as just this rambling madman who, for some reason, everyone loves his writing. You know, he, even though he has, even though he kind of hates his own writing, kind of, and doesn't understand why everyone loves it. Like that's so that's who I do. I kind of took a page from his book and kind of did my own self insert of a character that's kind of my all of my worst qualities in one person, and that's Nathan Wallace. And so that's kind of like, and I will plant him into various stories.
I'm
And so yeah, the
very excited
actor,
to write a bad
yeah.
guy.
So the
Have you written
actor,
your bad guys yet?
what do you mean by my bad guys?
So I know in the Outside World series, I
Hmm.
know there is a particular clandestine association.
Right.
Have you written any of their stories yet?
Not entirely. I have kind of a clue in as to some of them, like especially the
Because the
front.
question I want to the question I was heading towards
Mhm.
is like, how much fun is it for you when you get to write your bad guys?
Oh, I mean, it's no more or less fun than the others. In a way, they're like, here's the thing. There's one of my villains. His specific. It's like what you went through with with one of your origin stories that you told me about that you were terrified to write because of how hardcore it was. You were like, "Oh, am I going to get in trouble for
Oh,
writing this?"
oh, Esmeralda. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
For me, that's the favored son. The favored son's origin story is hardcore, and there's a part of me that's kind of afraid to write it.
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Esmeralda's story, there's what happens to her. Okay, so my favorite heroic characters are the ones who have overcome the most tragedy.
Right.
Like that is the thing. So in order to have for me, and like the characters that I want to build, in order to have a really strong, morally sound character who when they make a decision, it carries weight,
Mhm.
they need to come from a place that they have experienced the consequences for me or like their actions, the consequences on all of these things as they pair around. They need to understand the gravity behind all of them.
Sure, yeah. That makes
If
sense.
they've
Yeah.
been in the situation, then they understand what they're doing to somebody else potentially as collateral damage, as any of these things. So what I had to do to Esmeralda was was absolutely horrendous.
Right.
And before I was willing to write that down or even accept that I was going to be the writer who did that, I talked to, I swear to God, about 20 women. And I
Mhm.
told
Yeah.
all of them the story, and a few of them were writers, and I I actually tried to pass it off to you to write as well.
I remember that. Yeah, and I was like, "Fuck you. I'm not touching that."
I know, and I talked to all these women, and when I explained the story, they're like, "You need to write this. This needs to be the next thing you write. You have to write this story."
Man,
And
that's pretty good. Yeah.
like that's kind of the baseline of where everybody came from. They're like, "No, you invented that character, you created that character, you came up with that story, you need to pay it off." And I'm like, I hate all of you for how good of friends you are all being. Somebody
Right, yeah.
just do the work for me.
I want a shortcut, and I don't care whose property it goes through.
I, okay, so here's the thing. And we've talked about this a little bit in the past,
Mhm.
where the most maddening advice, it's still the best advice.
Mhm.
Like
Okay. Yeah.
when I was trying to get help on the musician, when I was reaching for help for some of my stories and all this, and everybody just told me, you just write it. And I'm like, and I just kept going. I'm like, I can't. I'm not. That's not my thing. That it didn't matter.
Mhm.
Like I started writing on the 11th chapter of my book. I finally found the flow of what kind of writer I am.
Right.
It
Yeah.
took over 10 chapters just to start writing like me. It took
Mhm.
that long. But the
Yeah.
thing is, what pisses me off is that, like, when I say that long, that was only like a couple months. I
Right.
have been bitching about wanting to write something for a decade.
No, yeah, I know.
Like
No,
that
we've all
whole,
we've all been there,
yeah.
bro. We've all been
Well,
there.
that
I
whole
get
proverb,
it.
idiom, however you say it,
Proverb.
The best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago.
Right.
The second best time right now.
Exactly. Yep.
And
And yeah,
damn
it's
ancient cliches.
right. Like it really pisses you off when you sit there and go like, "Fuck, everybody says that," and then it turns out they're right. You're like, "God damn it!" It's like,
Wow. Oh, that's why everybody says that.
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. No,
There's
I
that
hate it
little.
too. Fucking pisses me off every time.
Well, of course, because you like that whole time, that whole like 10 years that I was looking for help writing that story, all that stuff. The whole time, like people were like, you should write it. And I just kept getting like angrier and angrier. And I'm like, I have so much respect for writers, and I just know that I'm not one.
Mm,
And I'm like, let's do this. Just years of hammering and bitching, and just what was the point? But realistically, the book that I wrote last year and that I'm carrying on into this year,
right.
I couldn't have done that 10 years ago. The kind of man I am, the kind of experiences I've had, everything that has happened just in the past few years, the
Sure. Yeah.
pandemic included, everything that I read and all that I learned during that time, I
Hmm.
could not have done what I did this last year.
Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
there is kind of those two sides to it, but the core point, people
Well,
suck.
yeah. Well, and here's the second proverb. Here's the second proverb that's going to piss you off because
Oh, what's up?
this one never stops proving itself. You're going to feel it for the rest of your life. Um, your taste in reading will always outpace your capability of writing. You, you are never going to be good enough to
Oh,
satisfy yourself because as you become a better writer, your taste will
oh,
become even better.
that is very fair.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that, and where I had like the voiceover narrators from like some of the classes that I've been in and all this, they're
Hmm.
like, it's okay, just do this, put it aside for a while, think about this, put it aside for a while, and I'm like, no, because I know me. I
Right.
know that in order for me to do this, I have to write it, write the first one, at very least the first one, publish it, get it out there, stop thinking about it, and have it be done.
Right. Yeah.
Because first, the step one, like the first step was not starting writing. The first step was not the outline, it wasn't anything. The first step is I'm still in it.
Right. Okay.
Because until I get all the way to the end, it's actually published and it's put out there, and I have actually decided that it's done,
Right.
it's all still theoretical.
Yep. Exactly.
And the whole point is like, take a few years. I'm like, nope. Maybe I'll take a few years on the next one or something like
Yeah.
that. But
Maybe
the whole point
while
is all of
wh-
these fears and anxiety, I need to see the reality of them so I
mhm.
can learn how to respect those fears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
Maybe
that was a
maybe
very
Emerson.
long walk.
Now, maybe Emerson had enough time to hang out in the woods and think about every line and set it aside, go fishing, and then come back to it later. I don't have that kind of time. I do not have that kind of time.
No, but I am moving to the mountains, so
There
hopefully
you
I
go.
will find that.
There you go. There you go.
I am very, very beyond excited
Yeah.
for this. I dude, 38 years old and I'm getting my first home.
Yeah. No, that's
Like I'm
kind of a
still just
miracle. Yeah. Good
I-
for you, man.
I'm still
Congratulations.
amazed it's actually well, it's been a road.
Mm,
Oh man, so these the shoe okay, so it's not the shoe tree fables.
right. It's shady
It's,
transactions in questionable establishments.
that is a hell of a title.
Yep. I'm
I don't
I'm
know
a
why,
little
but I
too
see Rick. I kind of see Ricky Gervais on the cover.
no.
Wait, you don't wait. I thought you loved Ricky Gervais.
I do, but he's not right for the role.
Oh, that ooh. What about Owl?
Owl?
Outside World Werewolves of Landfall.
Ah, okay. What about it?
Dude, the acronym spells owl. What about for the main character? his archetype, everything like that, like that's is that like that. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. How do you see your main character from that book?
I mean, I don't know, man. I
Physically,
guess
that's
that
how he's described.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like I kind of there's a part of me that kind of wants to intentionally leave some of that stuff blank because I describe the important parts, which are the personality, their interaction with the world and how people react to them. As far as actual physical appearance goes, other than like a couple of key points, I kind of want the reader to sort of fill themselves in on that. So if I say this is a person who is very gruff and angry all the time, I want them to picture their own gruff and angry person in their head to slot in that role. I don't want
For
to
the book,
dictate what
and
they look like.
I've said this before, and
Mhm,
I stand by it. For the reader, delightful. I can
mhm.
understand that. You know, a little bit blank of a canvas, and they can paint the picture.
Right.
As the audiobook narrator,
Okay.
seriously, they're like I'm sitting there looking at a character, and I'm like, okay, there's no physical description, or next to no physical description. There's a little bit of a personality. I can choose one of 1,000 voices, and they will all work. Talk about option paralysis. But the one thing that when I'm doing the audio work on your book, it's real like I like it because I actually get to get caught up in the story at the same time.
Right.
So like when I've gone through and gone on the editing, it's like, oh shit, I started reading too fast because I started getting caught up in the story.
Well,
You're
thank
like,
you.
I do appreciate that about your writing. Uh, Once I'm done, like this is actually something that I hated about other artists when
Mhm.
I was trying to get them to work with me on some certain things. But once I'm done with my book, I'm gonna keep going through on your series. I just
Okay.
really want to stay focused on like finishing writing my book so I don't fuck up the tone.
No, yeah.
That's why I haven't read any other book in like the entirety of our show.
No, I totally
Like
get that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm right.
no
I'm kinda right there with you on that. Yes. Which
no,
is,
it's but I
which is why
am looking forward to book 2.
I have also not been even, like, harassing you about the audiobook stuff. In fact, I think we gotta go back online and adjust our end date because I think we blew past the deadline we set.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah,
like a long time ago.
yeah, so we'll have to go back and adjust that so that,
Well,
ACX
no,
doesn't yell at
okay.
us.
So no. The thing on that is on ACX, your first 15 minutes of the book are due by a certain point. We
Right.
already achieved that, so I actually don't really know how that works after the fact.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't. I mean, you're the
I do
author.
yeah.
I'm the narrator. I'm pretty sure if there's a dispute, we can figure it out.
Right, yeah. Well, I just don't know
Yeah.
how ACX does these things. That's the question. So that I
That
gotta
i-
go. Yeah,
that is a
like I
good
don't know if they're
question.
gonna
Have
be
you
like
been? Go ahead.
I don't know if they're gonna be like we've canceled your project. You got to start over now or not. I have no idea. So
Well, I mean, that wouldn't really be the roughest thing. All I'd have to do is re-upload the file.
yeah, no, that's true. Yep.
No, it's the process is remarkably simple. I am just still waiting to get the feedback because I want to hear those first 3 chapters after you've edited them with the music and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
want to know how the flow is going to go. Set
Okay.
aside from that, I'm about to move.
Right.
So I am about to have hopefully a new studio set up. Hey, what's up,
Nice.
pup?
So yeah, I'll probably that'll probably be what I do just before I get back into writing. Is I'll probably focus on the audiobook thing. I've got one other thing. I am now deep into meditation. Is basically what I'm
What?
doing right now.
You started meditating?
Cross stitching, man. It's a form of meditation. I turn
Oh,
on I turn
okay.
on some music and my mind goes blank. I would make the Buddha proud with how blank my mind has been the last couple of days. So
So here's the thing that I was really expecting to hear you tell me that you had gotten into.
mm,
I was waiting to hear you say Tai Chi, yoga,
okay. Okay.
any one of these things ever since you told me about the interstitium
Oh
and
right, yeah.
like the scientific discovery of that, because all of that adds a little bit more validity to the body movements and like how does this work and all of
Right,
that.
yeah. Does the dog want to give you a high five now because you did that?
No, she's sitting there like, you know when like you got your dogs in there and come here, come on. There you go. Come on, you want to say hi? You're not exactly in frame, but come here. This is
That's my
Vidal.
dog. Hello, Vidal. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is your first appearance. Like,
I know it's the other dog that
yeah.
keeps popping in every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is my sweet baby. She is always sitting next to the show and being very, very quiet and well behaved. But she's one of those dogs that if she's not sitting or laying down directly underneath you, she's not happy.
Okay.
And yeah, she can't fit underneath me right now because we have everything adjusted for the move. Oh no, I got a full size German Shepherd sitting at my feet almost every show, and
Nice.
no, she never makes a noise. She is a very good dog. I'm trying to remember the specifics on her. She's not a German Shepherd because when the wall went up in Berlin, her
Mm-hmm.
breed was on the eastern part of the wall. So the standard German Shepherd that we get in America is the breed that was on the western side.
Right.
Her
Okay.
breed was 100% military, police, like straight working dog. Um, a lot of like the German shepherds that we get, like their shoulders are up here, but their back legs are a little like you're familiar.
Kinda, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I had a
that's
German Shepherd as a kid, but yes.
there you
So
go.
yeah.
So like they have the lower hips, they have the hip issues, everything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Her breed doesn't have that. She
Okay.
is basically everything that a German shepherd is, a little bit smaller, about 15% stronger, lives longer, and doesn't have hip issues.
Hmm.
As a puppy, she is worth about $6,000.
Jesus.
Yeah. Got her for 75 bucks at the rescue shelter.
Nice. Nice.
I was sitting there one morning. I got up. I was sitting on the toilet, and just for some reason, I was like, I'm going to scroll through the rescue pups today. Saw her. She had just become available that day. I like rushed off the toilet, and I'm like, no, 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 I need this dog. And I like went over to the rescue place, and what they do is they have you go through this place and you write down 3 or 4 different numbers of the dogs because they're like, you might not be right for this one. And I'm like,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
I am. I'm right for this dog. Like, like this dog and I became
Don't take
soulmates
it.
through a phone. All right,
Don't take it personal. Some dogs are racist. It happens.
that that is true, man. I
Yeah.
came home. I came home from school one day, and my dog had 2 Black Jehovah's Witness sitting on top of their car, and I'm just like, I, guys, I'm so
Oh no.
sorry. Like, I don't know what happened to her in a past life. Like, no, you are right. Some dogs are racist, and it's never not awkward for the owner. I'm just putting that
I
out
know.
there.
Yeah. No. It's
Like, no,
yeah.
I've been the owner. I've been the owner of a racist dog, and I do not know what to say in those moments. I'm like, I have black friends. Like, there's like, no, you
Because that
literally.
always helps. That always helps. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's about the worst thing that you can possibly say. Yet it's about the only thing that comes to mind in those moments.
Right. Yeah. That's
Because
the
it's like,
problem.
no, because like literally, because it's like, no, 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 there are other black people in her life. I don't know what this is. Like, no, I. So yes, some dogs are racist. That is true. This dog is not. No, but I went to the shelter and they couldn't even open the door all the way. Like it was just cracked open, and she busted the door down to come into the room and tackle me.
Nice.
I was like,
Nice.
"Yep, nope, this is my dog." Yep,
Mm,
knew that. No, we've been like in the Jeep. She's traveled, oh God, tens of thousands of miles with me already.
nice.
Nah, damn good dog. I think the official title, like term for her dog, is the Eastern European Shepherd,
Okay.
or like Ovcharka. I
Gotcha. Okay.
think I'm saying that
See,
right.
the funny thing is that was an actual stand-up joke years back. Like there's a stand-up comedian named Stephen Wright. Have you heard of him?
Maybe. I'd have to look
Okay,
him
yeah,
up.
he's one of the old gods of the '80s. Like he was up there with Sam Kinison and all them. Like he was one of those guys.
Oh, well, then I'm
And he
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and his whole bit was very, very deadpan one-liners. Like his whole bit was just him standing there very quietly speaking directly into the microphone and just saying, and one of his jokes was, "I have a dog. He's an East German Shepherd, very disciplined." That was the joke.
I literally do. I have a dog. East German.
That's the thing.
That's huh. All
Yeah,
right.
it's hard to describe, but it's like if you find one of his albums, like it is like weird how you're just gut busting like through like 90 minutes of him just saying
And what
random
was the
shit like
name one
that.
more time?
Stephen Wright with a
Like
W.
W?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, shit, dude, I'll definitely check it out because I'm pretty fond of comedy.
Mhm.
No, that's who is your favorite stand-up comedian, by the way? Because we've talked about this quite a bit, but we've actually
Oh,
never boiled that down.
that is see, that's the tough one, man. Like that's like asking me what my favorite movie is. Like that. I mean, I think.
See, I have answers for both, so it doesn't seem like it's that tough a question.
Well, the tragedy is that definitely for many, many years of my life, it was Bill Cosby.
Ooh, yeah.
he was my not just my favorite, but he was my first introduction. Like my parents had all of his albums on vinyl, and I wore those vinyls out as a kid. So, like he was my beginning and my standard for stand up comedy for the first half of my life, and that so yes, that was eh, fucking rough when the news came out, man. Like it was hard.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I mean, Steve Martin would definitely be up there. Stephen Wright would definitely be up there. Mike Birbiglia is probably one of the newer comedians that I'm really into, and mainly because that one I told you about. Thank God for Jokes. Like of all all the comedy specials I have seen and enjoyed in my life, that one has been played on repeat almost as many times as the Bill Cosby albums were played back when I was a kid. Like
Okay,
he's
fair enough.
so, like, if I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably say him, but I'm zeroing in specifically on that one, Thank God for Jokes. The new
Okay,
one
okay.
is pretty good, but it's not as good as Thank God for Jokes in my opinion, and so but that's the thing is, like, so it's tough for me to say where my if I had to pick one, God, that's a tough one. But, yeah, so I'd say Steve Martin, Stephen Wright, Mike Birbiglia, um, yeah. So
He
yeah.
did the having a bully have him warm the toilet seat for him. Cosby.
What?
I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused. He did the having a bully warm the toilet seat for him. I'm guessing the having a bully warm the toilet seat for him was a skit from
Might have been
Cosby,
one of his acts. Yeah, it
like
doesn't ring
one
a
of his
bell for
bits.
me though.
Okay, that's what thing. Like the sentence itself is funny, so I'm getting a laugh out of
Yeah.
that. But I'm still trying to
Well,
figure out.
dude,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, one of his longer single bits was called to my brother Russell, whom I slept with, and I listened to that so many times as a kid that after not hearing it 20 years later, I was able to repeat it word for word to a girl I was dating in China and had her dying of laughter, like literally dying.
Outhouse. He did the having a bully warm the toilet seat for him. Cosby Outhouse. Is Outhouse a movie?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Why am I not knowing this bit? I know
Yeah.
that I have seen enough Bill Cosby that I should know all of his skits.
Mm,
I mean, because yeah, I like he was America's dad. Like
that's the thing. Yeah.
everybody in my family, like I wanted to watch a stand-up comedian. I wanted to watch Eddie Murphy.
Right. Yeah.
No, I had to watch Bill Cosby because he was wholesome.
Right.
The irony in time on that one.
I know. Right. Like that's yeah. No.
No, but see, like when I was younger, I
It never stops hurting.
absolutely loved Eddie Murphy. Still do. His
Hmm.
stand-up comedy from the 80s is a little bit rougher at this point in history, not gonna lie.
Right. Yeah.
uh But no, I grew up on Eddie Murphy and absolutely loved him. Switched over, and Christopher Titus became my favorite, like in my late, like mid late teens, and that has not
Titus
changed.
Titus
I
is
mean, it's
fucking solid.
Titus, Chappelle. I mean, how do
Mhm.
you compete with Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, now they're saying that it must have been another older comedian. Why am I not remembering this? I'm dying over here.
Yeah. No, like I was, yeah.
Because now,
80s,
like,
80s and
it's one of
90s
those
was
things
like,
that now I want to know this skit. Now I want to go watch this skit.
yeah.
um, no, because I never actually watched the Titus show. That was a
Oh,
little bit more your era, right?
yeah. No, I watched it while it was on the air. I caught it every week. It was fucking brilliant. Yeah. No, you should definitely go see if you can find it on like Hulu or
That's what
something,
I'm
man.
understanding is that it was really great. But his Love is Evil special is one of my all-time favorites.
I remember that one. That was a good one. Yeah. Yep. No, I can totally respect Titus being a favorite. He definitely is solid and up there. Yeah.
How because I told you about, like, I think I've told you the story of when I met him and he completely punked me in the greatest way.
Right. Yes, I do remember that story. Yes, that was good. You should go
Short for
tell it.
yeah, okay. I went to one of his comedy specials in Portland, Oregon. It was a surprise. A friend brought me, and I got in there and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Titus." Yeah. So I started having some drinks, and at that point, I was just drinking straight whiskey. Yet I was in a comedy show, so they were giving me whiskey on ice, and I was not drinking it like it was whiskey on ice. You know, like I got a little bit too tipsy.
Right.
And okay, so listened on a record in the 80s. Okay, so maybe I'll just try to track that down. I'm gonna look for that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
while I was in this comedy show, I just kept getting drunker and drunker. And if you don't know this about Christopher Titus, he's a sober guy.
Mm.
I didn't know this about Titus. So he's giving the special. We're having a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and we go out there, and I make sure that I am the last person in the line because two reasons. I even knew I was at that point. I'm too tipsy. I do not want to meet somebody that I really look up to when I'm this tipsy. So I
Sure. Yeah.
put myself at the back of the line, hoping that he would dip before I got like all the way up there, and I could be like, "Oh shucks,"
Right.
you know. But no, he was a very, very cool guy who stood there for all of his fans and he waited all night and he did all this and he talked to everybody. I got up there, started talking to him and telling him like, man, like you're awesome. Like I've got all this thing like, and I just told him like, you got these issues with your family. I got like the exact same things. All the things that when you're drunk, you just it comes pouring out of you when you're
Right.
sober, you know, these are the things to keep to yourself
Right.
that you
Yes.
just are happy about that you have in common with this person. You don't need to talk about them. No,
Right.
I
Yeah.
was shamammered. So I
Yeah.
was sitting there talking about them. What does he do? In response, he signs a DVD, gives it to me for free, and I go home. And the next day, I wake up with a hard hangover.
Mm.
And it wasn't the next day. I waited a little bit because I was like, oh, I got this. I'm going to live in the excitement for a little bit. So I wait a bit, pop the DVD in. There's a section of this DVD where he talks about meeting a musician, fame. I think it was The Boss.
Right. Okay.
And like he goes to meet him and he just just regurgitates everything, verbal, just diarrhea all over the place, and he makes a complete ass out of himself. And as I'm watching this, I'm realizing everything that he's talking about in this special about how he made an ass out of himself to The Boss,
Right.
I just did to him. And I'm
So he
sitting
picked
there,
he picked that CD to give to you.
I'm just sitting there, falling back into the couch, going, this dude burned me a week later.
Yeah.
God damn it, he is absolutely my favorite.
Yep. Yep.
No, I gotta like Christopher Titus. When he came out with the podcast and all this, and I went to go check it out, and he was having all these political conversations. I'm like, oh God, not another one, dude. So many people you like. It's gone so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
No,
man. No,
he's
he's
still solid.
awesome.
Yep.
He is a solid dude. He is an awesome guy. Grown ass man, I'm still looking up to him.
Yeah. Hey,
No, I mean, the
nothing wrong
guy's
with
got
that,
the
I don't
skill,
think.
he's got the talent, everything. He is awesome. I am glad that he did finally stop telling the story of him being a teenager on the beach.
I don't remember that one. It's been a while since I've done any of that.
Oh yeah. No, he was telling like the stories over like him being a dumb California boy teenager, like all this stuff. Like he has like one story where he fell into the fire and he's like and he just
Oh,
like he said it
right.
like it's like
Yes.
that's hot. Like
Right.
that
Okay, I
one
do remember that
punchline
now.
wound up in like 4 of his specials and I'm like, dude, you are way too funny to be repeating material at this level.
No, yeah, totally.
No, but I stand by it. Dave Chappelle, probably number one.
Hmm.
Just because I mean it sucks to kind of be on a global bandwagon, but if there's a global bandwagon about a dude's comedy, it's kind of it's deserved. Like it's okay to be on that bandwagon.
Well, I mean, what's that guy's name? There is one guy who's like, I guess he's considered like Mr. Number One. Like he's the one who's like, of all the stand up comedians working big rooms, he's got the biggest. And I'm forgetting his name because I was never that into him. He's um
We're not talking like Kevin Hart or something, are we?
no, not Kevin Hart.
Because he was
No, he was
selling out like crazy.
the Hot Pockets guy. Who's the guy that always does the Hot Pockets joke?
Oh, Jim
Like
Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan. Yeah. So apparently he's like the highest paid stand up comedian these days, and I think he's okay. So that's where
I
that's
would put
where
him a
I'm on
little
the outs.
higher than okay. To be
Mhm.
honest, I mean, like his comedic timing is constantly on point. His
Mhm.
material is always fresh. Like the Hot Pockets one, yes, he did it, but I don't think he kept repeating it.
No, no, yeah. He's
See, that's
famous
like
for it, but yeah, it hasn't been brought up in a long time. Yeah, for sure.
no, he is organically funny. His material is great. His punchlines
Mhm.
are great, and what might be the greatest thing about him in a comedy aspect, he's not hot.
Okay.
Like I mean that is a beneficial thing. Like that is the thing. Like you Matt Rife actually had this joke like because he kind of like developed into kind of a beautiful man.
Okay.
And he's like, this is not good for comedy. I don't like this any more than you do. Like he kind of goes into, he's like, comedy got real hard for me after this happened. And he does have like a really good point there. He absolutely knows how to make it work in his favor because Matt Rife is pretty good comedically.
Okay.
I still, if I can push any conspiracy theory out into the world, Matt Rife is a clone of Rick Ducommun who hit the gym, plain and simple. I'm sorry, man. After you had me watch The Burbs, that was Fat Matt Rife.
I remember you saying that, and I still don't know entirely. I'm still not sure I know who Matt Rife is. So
Oh, okay.
I'm still only taking your word for that.
I can't. You had me go watch an entire comedy special. You couldn't look up a dude's picture. Fair. All right, fine.
You haven't threatened to fire me yet. What are you gonna do, man?
All right, we are coming up on the close of the after hour, though. Is there any final thoughts that you want to jam in for this week?
No, I think I'm good. Um, yeah, no,
Another five
I guess the
comedians you want to name?
nah, no, I'm good.
So is it Steve Martin? Like because
Steve
like
Martin was
his
definitely up there.
comedy, like he became a
Well,
fantastic host, but his stand-up comedy, when's the last time
well,
he had a special?
he actually came out with one back in I want to say 2016. It was kind of a
Oh,
dual thing. It was him and Martin Short did like a special together. They did a performance together.
well,
So
yeah, that's kind of Martin Short's thing. He is
yeah.
a hanger honor of
Cl-
Steve Martin.
yeah,
But at the
yep. They
same
they did.
time, I don't know that he ever needed to be because he is plenty funny on his own.
No, that's true. Yes, but I guess he just likes working with people more than on his own.
I like this viewer.
Oh, what do we got now?
Robin Hood Men in Tights is the best Robin Hood movie ever.
I am willing to concede that. And I have seen a lot of Robin Hood movies, and you know what? I don't see anything wrong with that statement.
There's only one. No, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I'll say like there's no. I almost actually said the statement. There's no iconic song from the movie, which may have been the dumbest thing I ever said on the show.
From Robin
But
Hood Men in Tights, you were about to
I
say
know,
that.
but the reason I was about to say that is because the animated movie from the 80s, I think maybe the 70s,
Oh,
but it's
right. Yeah.
I have had this one little line of a song in my head for almost 40 years. Robin Hood and Little John are running through the forest, jumping fences, dodging arrows, running through the trees. Why?
The music from that movie was pretty iconic, especially the
That
whistling
rooster,
song. That yeah,
that whistling rooster.
yeah, that whistling song has been a theme song in the back of my head for whenever I was working my dad's farm. I had that
Yeah,
going through my head all the
now that
time.
you mention it, it's been playing. It's gonna be playing in
Yeah,
my head too. All right, guys. Oh,
yeah.
you good?
Nope, that was it. I was just like, but yeah.
All right, guys. That's gonna bring it close to the after hour. We will be back on next week, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. From now until then, stay safe and stay sane.